Lightning streaks across the sky as Farsight's honor guard stare each other down. Who will embrace the killing blow way of war and best his comrades in battle? With a crack of thunder, the fight commences. Oblatai 9-0 unleashes a barrage of missiles, each one locked on to each of his opponents. Those in crisis suits take to the sky to evade, while Ovesa blocks it with his Riptide's shield generator. Out from the smoke, a massive blast of ion energy streaks out and catches the broadside, tearing it in two. With no human pilot operating it, the AI continues in its objective. Oblatai 9-0 locks on to Ovesa once again, this time ready to fire all of his missiles at this Riptide. But before he could, Sub-Commander Torchstar takes this opportunity and unleashes her dual flamers into the exposed XV-88's core. The raging inferno overloads the core, and in a massive explosion, both of these warriors fall. Only 5 remain. Who will survive? What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today we're back to talk about Warhammer 40k. More specifically, we return to GrimDark battles, where we pit warriors of the 40k universe against one another to see who would win in a death battle. Today, we're looking at the 7 warriors of Farsight's Honor Guard, the 8. These warriors have been at Farsight's side, giving him wisdom on the battlefield and also tearing enemies apart with their suits. They are a very interesting bunch that each kind of has a specialty, and I wanted to see who would come out on top between the 7 of them. I didn't want to include Farsight in this because obviously it's Farsight. He would win. So we're looking at his underlings to see who would come out on top. So because of that, we're going to look at stat lines, their weapons, their war gear, their notable battles, and we even have a community poll to see how the popularity voted. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to know these crisis suit commanders a little bit better before we jump into the battle itself.
So let's begin with the tale of Commander Bravestor, a warrior whose faith in Oshova is so strong he would not hesitate to sacrifice his own life in order to save that of Farsight's. Bravestorm was already a highly decorated hero during the Damocles Gulf Crusade, when the Imperium of Man assaulted the expanding Tau Empire. As an XV-8 crisis battlesuit pilot, he stoically fought in the defense of the greater good, knowing well that humanity was like no other enemy that the Tau had ever faced. In response to the deadly armored regiments of the Imperial Guard that were extremely difficult for the Firecast to handle, the engineers of the Tau Empire, known as the Earthcast, were commissioned by Farsight himself to implement the experimental Onager Gauntlets, a Tau battlesuit close combat weapon that charged an immense payload of potential energy into the fist of the battlesuit and then released it into the highly armored enemies. 12 pilots were chosen, Bravestorm being one of them, and the design proved to be extremely effective. The warriors were able to punch a hole straight through the side of an Imperial main battle tank and rip out its power core with ease. However, the damage the system would cause the pilots, in addition to the riskiness of these missions, caused severe casualties. And during the battle at Black Thunder Mesa, where Commander Bravestorm took out over a dozen Imperial tanks, he was unfortunately critically damaged. Unwilling to lose such a great hero, Farsight turned to the Earthcast engineers, who modified Bravestorm's trusty battlesuit with a life support system and entombed the great warrior inside the suit. Out of the 12 original recipients of the gauntlet, only Bravestorm survived. He followed his commander even after rebelling against the Tau Empire, and is now one of the most powerful melee warriors of the 8, capable of crushing a Space Marine with one single blow. Next, we move on to Commander Brightsword, another member of the 8 that fought alongside Farsight for many years and whose military history stretches as far back as the Tau Empire's Second Sphere expansion. It was on the Sep world of Daleth that a new Tau commander took on the title of Brightsword, the reappearance of this notorious and inspiring Firecast leader who struck fear into the hearts of humanity, invigorated the Tau forces as they valiantly resisted the Imperial invasion. From that point forward, Brightsword became an undying warrior, whose title is taken on by a new commander after each death. Since then, a total of 7 commanders have taken on the name Brightsword, each one of them choosing to fight for Oshova. What many don't know is that each one of these warriors that becomes the legendary commander is not a volunteer, but rather a clone of the original commander Brightsword. In this way, he truly is the never-dying member of the Eight. Another historic member of the Eight is Commander Chavastos, the first Tau to be fitted with the Sword of Puretide, a neurochip developed during the Damocles Gulf Crusade by the Earthcast at the request of the Ethereals. It gave the wearer all of the recorded military strategies of the legendary Tau leader, Commander Puretide. Chavastos was already a decorated and fearless commander whose success on the battlefield earned him a friendship with Commander Farsight. The neurochip was supposed to extend this military genius and make him better, and it proved to be very successful during the Damocles Gulf Crusade, where Chavastos enjoyed victory after victory against the invading Imperial troops. Because the neurochip suffered rapid degeneration and would more than likely kill Chavastos, he was placed inside of a stasis pod until the appropriate technology was created to safely remove the neurochip. Decades after his great sleep, a method of recalibrating the Sword of Puretide was created, and the old commander was reawakened. Cured of this neurochip curse, Chavastos is now one of the supreme military minds of the Eight, once again in control of a crisis battlesuit and fighting alongside his great friend Commander Farsight. Another member of Farsight's elite honor guard with an incredible military mind is Commander Ericon, a warrior born and raised within the Forbidden Zone. His pride in the independence of the Farsight enclaves burns hotter than the volcanoes of his homeworld of Yorlos. Rising through the ranks of Oshova's forces, he eventually became the one commander trusted by Farsight to take his place in his absence. While Commander Farsight launched a hunt for the Orc war boss Iron Teeth, Ericon successfully led the rest of the Farsight expedition, using his highly analytical mind to liberate and consolidate world after world. He has extensively upgraded his battlesuit to operate as a perfect infantry killing machine. Guardsmen and greenskin forces have learned to fear the sight of this powerful warrior on the battlefield. The strangest member of the Eight is the broadside Oblatai 90, an artificial intelligence imprinted with the mind of the legendary Oblatai, the famous battlesuit pilot that mentored the young Farsight on his journey to greatness. As an AI engram, the broadside battlesuit has all of the cognitive information of the once living Tau commander, but none of the organic parts. No one outside of the Eight and their attendants know of this secret, but despite his lack of flesh and blood, Oblatai 90 is a master at supplying the rest of the team with deadly accurate support fire, but more importantly, the strategic mind of a soldier with the wisdom thousands of years old. Out of the Eight, the youngest member of the team is Sub-Commander Torchstar, a skilled battlesuit pilot that defected from the Tau Empire and made a name for herself within the Farsight Enclave for her stylized use of flamers in battle. It's hard not to call her a pyromaniac, as her love of fire extends outside of the battlefield. Torchstar is covered in fire tattoos, and her energy and demeanor is described as fiery. She continues to make a name for herself amongst the elite honor guard and shows an above-average understanding of Tau military tactics. Now, one of the oldest colleagues of Farsight and a warrior that showcases the fundamental necessities of engineers within any military force is the honored Chave Ovesa, also known as the Stone Dragon. Ovesa is not a fire warrior. He is one of the few Earthcast engineers that has been given the honor of piloting a battlesuit, and not just any battlesuit, but the deadly XV-104 Riptide. The Stone Dragon rightfully earned this privilege because without him, the Eight wouldn't exist. It is Ovesa that entombed Commander Bravestor within his battlesuit. He creates and maintains the many clones of Commander Brightsword. Ovesa cracked the code of the Puretide neurochip that saved and revived Chavastos. He helped progress the late generation engram of Oblatai 90 and has improved the anti-infantry and fire support systems of Ericon and Torchstar. His masterful mind is also what is to thank for his own long life. Ovesa invented life-extending micro-drones that keep him alive despite being hundreds of years old. He also modified his Riptide with many of his AI inventions that compensate for his lack of fire warrior training and experience in battle. But most important of all is his close bond with Commander Farsight, who has been his leader and friend since the Damocles Gulf Crusade.